Hey, Laura J. Transporting some water to paint the other half of what will be a home for 3 beautiful women. I forgot my one rag. It is already dirty. Will you look at I use? Okay, very good. So, as I'm sure you know, we use the dirty rag to wipe the dirty surface first, and then you use the clean rag to actually polish it without having the contaminants of that which is wiped off with the dirty rag and the vinegar water, because it's natural and effective, which is the best way to be, in me opinion. So, as the pencil drops, I wonder what kind of story you are writing in your own mRNA. I think it is time for us to stop talking about mRNA from the perspective of the programs that have been created with experimental injections that are turning out to have a lot of side effects that are very dangerous, harmful, hurtful, and fraudulent because of the lack of informed consent, which is the binding factor of any agreement. Which means that ultimately all of us are voluntarily consenting to be part of a death cult until we choose to be part of a life culture instead. A living culture. Cult is at the foundation of culture. And so as I try to get rid of some of the stuff that is in the bottom of the windowsill, I ask you to consider the belief systems that have created the paradigms of shared belief systems connected to one idea, one sign, one syntax, which is the meanings assigned to the words or signs, depending on how you're describing them. So, it's exciting to be able to say that we are here to create a cultural evolutionary training. And the story of Rome and the adage that all roads lead to Rome has remained true up until now, when we who are the players on the field are getting off of our pedestals and we are actually choosing to wield our pen responsibly. How about that? How about we who can do, and we who cannot know how to connect with those who do, through the Peaceful Inner Warriors United. My last name, my surname, my cognomen is Hamilton. That is the family I was born to and have belonged to since I was created in 1987 as a hero millennial generation. Actually, I'm not a millennial. I'm the generation before that, which is the Generation X, I believe. Well, X marks the spot. We've heard that, and we didn't realize that it actually brought in a third party that allowed the X to be a signature next to your signature or sign at your own wristline. Yeah, I bet you didn't know about that, but now you do. And so what are you going to do with it? You're going to take your proper position, which is the proper or properia persona, which is the office of man. That's your first person pronoun. I, me, my, us, ours, we, ourselves, myself. Those pronouns are descriptive of the first person in a story, which is the one telling the story. The narrator would be the agent or second person of you, yours, yourself, yourselves. Those pronouns put an agent to the principle of the first person to speak for them. So the narrator acts on behalf of the one who is playing the roles within the story, using me, myself, ourself, us, ours, we. Those pronouns of first person for the principal, storyteller, and observer, witness, participant, scientist, subject, within the same sentence of a life story, a life sentence, the journey, where joy starts it and earn is all that's left, being what we've thought we need to do in order to be enough, earn our way. The urn of the vessel that contains the ashes of one we love that we cremated upon their desecration or their death, demise, departure from this realm in the form they were, as the God sparks incarnate within physical form that each of us are as the first person in our own world, in our own stories, realizing we each actually have multiple worlds that we go into and out of, which we're either doing it as the first person of the one telling the story, or we're doing it as the third person, which is where we say he, his, hers, herself, itself, themselves, theirs. Those pronouns are third person, because it's describing someone else who's experiencing something. Do we understand that when we take on those third person pronouns for our own first person experience, we're then falling prey to the praise, which was the Roman slave? And then we are becoming prey to that which we pray to, whether it be through religion or politics. Religion as the religioning of us into tribes of belief systems that give us a third person to project onto and say that is what you should not do, now let that be a lesson to you. Well, in my book, I used my stories to say those things, so that I spoke from lived experience to be able to say, I did things in a way that was not in my best interest per se, and I'm going to suggest you maybe do it a different way. Your call, your life, your consequences for your choices. But I'm just going to share what I did to say don't do that, but if you do, this is what I learned from what I did. So that's like the feel, felt, found. If you've ever heard of that from any sales training, it's like you seem like you feel this way to somebody that's in an emotional state. And then they can say yay or nay, because you said you seem, you didn't say you are, which would have been to project it onto them, so they didn't feel like they had any wiggle room to say no, compared to you seem this way, and ask it curiously. So then they say yay or nay. And then you can say, I felt that way at this time. And you give them in a personal example from your own life story. And then you can say, and from that I found this to be the lesson and the wisdom that came from the lived experience of the journey. And so that's what influences the poles I tick, which are what politics within the inner realms represent. So what do I mean by that? The poles I tick within the inner kingdom and the ballot box that plants the king and queen on the throne of our own soul's room. It's time for us to see the soul is dwelling within the vessel that holds it, which is the body. So, as I put my head more towards the camera and let go of the light that was far too bright, maybe, I want you to see that the body is the vessel that transports the soul through this life in. And if we are willing to win the battle between the wolves within ourselves, we can put a responsible king and queen onto the throne. And then we can also see that the responsible authority is the agent to the appropriate authority, who is the office of man, which we can step into, and we can leave also at the end of the role, when the act is up. We can take the suit off, and then we're not playing that role anymore. The vessel is real. This is 3D, and it is where we feel the energies that we have not been told were safe. And now I'm saying it is safe in community. Peaceful Inner Warriors United is a community of people doing the inner work that allows us to see the resonance, respect, and rituals that we are part of. Resonance, respect, and what is the other one that I have in my book as part of the inner acronym? I've never forgot it. It's always just rifted and drifted right off of my tongue, but now it doesn't, because I'm not so young, and the brain is blazing new neural pathways, maybe. All of that was just my way to say that every time we think a new way, we blaze a new trail within our own neurocircuitry. And it is time for us to see that when we do psychedelics, that is what automatically fires and wires in new ways, because the drugs take different pathways than we would, because it's not organic to us. It's different. So it takes a different route, and we sometimes like that route better than the route that we choose on our own. So then we become dependent on the drugs because of the routes they take us. But what if we actually instead found a way to take routes that would serve us better without the neuro pathways that taken by drugs, and instead realized we actually are a chemical pharmacy that can produce any of the chemicals or hormones that we need, so long as we are able to indeed direct our body faithfully. And so it is that I offer you a chance to be part of something you have not even heard of before, because it's not been announced. But I can't do it right now in this moment, because I need to build your excitement, and I need to get you curious about wondering what this is. I've got some courses, programs, bi-weekly calls. It's all on Patreon. You can go there and support me by choosing one of the membership options. And when you do, I'm going to send you an email with the codes to be able to get onto these calls, so you can be in the room. Whether it be physically or whether it be virtually, we are going to unite and come together and do what I tried to do 4 years ago when I was deemed crazy, because it's too grandiose, it's too big, it's too much, it's too impossible, because no one had seen the impossible in the impossible until we did it, and then people thanked us for persisting. And so I know I'm not alone in my conviction to the throne of what is good and right and noble. And the camera lens changes for a reason beyond my understanding, but I know that my higher self directs me a lot, and I speak not through any middleman agent or someone between me and the creator of all that I create, because I am the channel through which the divine flows. As divine of the line I come from, that I impact, because I am part of the same tree for 7 generations, forward and backwards. I can impact all of them, because time is all happening now in the end. You've never not been in the now moment of your life, except for in your head, when you then were in the past or future, thinking about something that wasn't here now, mentalizing and living your life, your lives in different domains without laying claim to the dominion that you came here to hold as the sovereign keepers of these lands, as responsible stewards of the clans that we all came from and belong to, whether we like the ones that we are related to or not. We are the ones on the playing field of consciousness at this time, and it is our responsibility to channel the divine by rising above the hate and lower frequencies, so that we can emotionally and energetically be the vessels that chose to forgive because we saw that forgiveness is forgiving. Wow. Geordie said that the other day, and I was like, oh my God, thank you for being the man that chooses to do life with me. It's our 7th anniversary, our first anniversary today. 7th, that's funny. It's the 7th today, but it's our first anniversary. So happy birthday, baby. Baby! Oh my God, birthday. It is a birth of a different kind of love, in a way, because then it's like you've got more stability or more memories of shared time together. So it is a birthday as an anniversary, and it's just a special day to be on the floor of the home that he is building for June and her girls. So I'm going to go and say, yo, leave a comment. Let me know what this message means to you and for you. This went deep, but oh my God, I can go deeper. And we're going to, with the Peaceful Inner Warriors United Assembly, who hopefully will choose to also become Patreon subscribers, supporters. $5.55 is the lowest. $22.22 gives you access to the bi-weekly calls. 2 calls a month with me, plus the Telegram Assembly, where we talk about some deep topics and questions and considerations. I share all the videos. I'll send you emails if you sign up at ljeh.ca as well. So there are lots of opportunities. I've got Stefan Deschen's. We did some interviews at Bear Oaks Family Naturist Resort last week, and those I'm going to give you a peek of on Sunday, tomorrow, when I get up the next installment of the hour-long documentary series that I am calling The Real Rome, I call home, which is the reality of my empowerment. The Rome I call home. And you can too, because when we roam into new territory, that is where we blaze a new outcome, and I do believe that we can come out of the closets of our own potential in order to say, you know what, I'm going to do it regardless, and I'm not going to use my gender as an excuse for who I am in this world, because I am so much more than just one box. My identity does not come from the genre of drama I perform with my sex of belief systems, because SECTS are the sex of our beliefs, that are BS if we see the belief systems behind the BS that rules and governs the inner realms of me. Mine, must, us, must, we must, we must, we will, we can. Laura J, that's all for today. Probably not, but hey.